Hello, welcome to TechSharmit. In this session, we will discuss about the variables in Python as well as we will cover the type function in Python. Okay, so before we start with the actual code, let me tell you some rules regarding the variable declaration, or you can say exactly the in Python we are not going to declare any variable. Instead of that, we will use it. Okay, so we can take care of these things. These are the rules that we need to take care of while using the variable name. Okay, so first rule is that a variable name must start with a letter or underscore. So these are the only allowed thing for the variable declaration. Here on line number 17 you can see we have declared one variable named as employee name. So if I start this with some number, then it will show error. You can see now it is highlighting because we are not supposed to start the variable name with number or any special character as well. So we can start only with the letters or with a underscore. So this is the first rule. Now the second rule is a variable name cannot start with a number. We just see that we can't start it with numbers, right? Now the third rule is a variable name can only contain alphanumeric characters, underscores. So these are the possible values like A to Z, 0 to 9 and underscore. Suppose in employee name if I include any number in between it, like number I can include, right now it is accepting it, but if I put any symbol, let's say dollar sign, then it will not accept it because we are not supposed to pass in between a, like not in between, throughout the variable we can't use any special character, okay, except underscore. Now the third thing is means the next rule is variable name are case sensitive. So if I'm using employee name in this way, where my employee name start with capital E, and if I try to print it with small e, then it will not work. It will give error because this variable is not defined here. So it is case sensitive, where capital A and small a is separate thing, right? We can't assume that it is starting with E and we can also print it with small e. No, we have to keep it same. So exactly you should use the same name. Only then it will allow you to print the values or use the variable. Okay. Now the third next thing is do not use keywords. So there are few keywords reserved for the Python, so we are not supposed to use those keywords. What are keywords? That these things we will discuss in later sessions, but for now you can understand that we are not supposed to use keywords for variable declaration. Okay, now we will jump to the code. So as I told you earlier that we are in Python there is no need to declare any variable. We are not going to declare anything. Okay, we will just use it. So in Python, you can consider variable as a container where we can store some values, and on the basis of those values, compiler means the program will understand. Okay, so this is the value related to string, so it will be considered as a string. If it is related to integer, it will be considered as an integer. So it totally depend on the value that we are assigning to variable. So let's see how. Here we will discuss about the string variable. So I just declared one variable as employee name, and inside that I am storing one string. So you can see in single quote I pass Sharmit. So now when I use print function to print it, it will print the actual value that is stored in this variable, which is Sharmit. Here we will use another function which is type function. So type function is a function which will return the exact type, like how the program is getting this variable. So how the program is considering this variable. Okay, so what it will do, it will return the exact type of this variable and then we are printing it. So it will tell us what type of variable we are using, or employee name contains which type of values. Okay, you can also store this string with inside double quote as well, because string we can pass in either in single quote or in double quote. Both are allowed. So what these three line will do, firstly we are assigning the value without declaring it. We are not declaring employee variable, employee name anywhere. We are just directly assigning the value. This is the advantage of Python. In other programming language we declare it with some keyword, but here we are directly using it. Then printing the name with print function, and then using the type function to identify the type of this particular variable. Okay, Now we will move to the next thing. Next thing is integer variable. So suppose I declare another variable and this time I'm assigning some numeric value. So I'm not using quote, I'm directly passing the value to this variable. Then we are printing it, and again we are identifying its type. So it will print the type of this variable. Next we are declaring, next time we are using a float value. So you can see we have stored the decimal value in this percentage variable, and we are printing it, and we are identifying the type. So let's see what all output we will get from these lines. So I'm saving it by pressing Ctrl S. So these are the current comments, right? We have discussed in previous sessions. So everything written started with hash will be considered as a comment. So I just do Ctrl S for save, and now I will press Ctrl tilde to open my terminal, and here in terminal we will run the file. So to run the file you can use Python. You can directly write Python, and after Python you can write variable.py. So let's see, just write Python and your program name. So in our case program name is variables, and then extension is .py. So once I hit enter, it will print the output. So let's see what all output we got. First is we are printing the normal employee name, so it is printed Sharmit, and then it is printing the type of this variable, which is str. Okay, so now we got that this program is considering employee name variable as a string. Similarly, we are printing the decimal value, no, sorry, integer value, and the type is integer. Then we are printing the percentage, and the type of this variable is float. Okay, so this is how type function will inform us which type of variable we are using right now. Another advantage of using Python variable is, let's say if I assign some other value and reuse the same variable again. Let's say if I go employee name and I assign this time numeric value to it. So I assigned it. Now we will simply print it, and so make sure that this is case sensitive, so you are passing exactly the same name which is related to your variable. So we are printing it, and then again we are printing its type. Again we will use type function, and then we are printing the employee name. So now what it will do, it will print the employee type. So let's save it and again run it. So I'm to rerun it, I will press up key, so it will fetch the last use command and then hit enter. Now we will see the last one. So last time it is printing 5000, which is coming from this employee name, because this time we are assigning the integer value to it, and you can see the type is also changed to integer. So whenever you are reinitializing the variable, it will again check for the type of the variable and then process accordingly. So this is the beauty of Python, right? So this is how we can utilize a Python variable. There is no need to declare any kind of variable. You can directly use it, and as per your past value, it will be considered. It will consider the variable type and process accordingly. So yeah, that's all for this session. In the upcoming session, we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching TechSharemeth.